listening to the Cambridge Insider Podcast. On this episode, get the inside scoop on a new initiative for Global College Connect partnering with KnowledgeLink. Today's episode is sponsored by North Yarmouth Academy. They are a traditional New England prep school with a campus dotted with traditional brick buildings, a modern science center, playing fields, and their own ice arena. NYA attracts elite students who value satisfaction and reward that comes from dedication, commitment, and hard work. Thanks for listening.
Cambridge Insider Podcast time. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cambridge Insider Podcast, the first episode.
First episode of season 5.
There we go. Welcome to all our listeners, to all our viewers on YouTube and all the different channels that you do listen to us to, and a happy new year. Mariah Thompson, how was the festive time? Did you manage to take some time off? Was it a good break?
Yeah, I traveled home because I live several states away from home. So I traveled home, then came back to Texas and celebrated with friends the new year. So well rested, well ready to kick off 2024.
Awesome. And, we come back from these breaks sometimes, and I think we're a little unprepared, but schools are in full flow. Students are active. We are seeing just a lot of positive news coming out of students who have enjoyed the festive season, but are really gearing up for this next sort of semester, next time frame at their high schools, which is excellent to see. But getting straight into it, we are introducing a brand new product or a brand new initiative today. So I'm very, very excited about this. This is a world exclusive for those of you that are listening. Before we get there, to set the scene a little bit, I want to remind you that Cambridge Network are not only in the high school field, but we do also work with colleges in a very similar manner that we work with many of our high schools through recruitment, through marketing, through branding. We can offer homestay, we can offer admissions and enrollment support as well. So we do that with select colleges across the country, typically in what we call our Global College Connect product. So that's the first part of sort of setting the scene. The second part that's important to know is that Cambridge Network, under our umbrella of Cambridge Network, have a sister or a brother company called KnowledgeLink. Not so important really to know what it stands for, but I'm going to allow Mariah maybe just to introduce KnowledgeLink a little bit, because it has, obviously some importance to what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, so for those who are listening that don't know what KnowledgeLink is, but you are familiar with Cambridge Network and how we operate on the U.S. side of things, just think of it as super similar, but our campuses and our schools are in China. And so we have students who are looking to further their education with an American education, but they're staying in their home country for the most part. There probably are some students that aren't necessarily from China, but they're in China, and we have 12 campuses that are there. And we do all the hiring of our teachers and our headmasters that run the campuses. And it's all through a U.S.-based accreditation diploma. So all the students that go there get an American diploma, have American teachers. For the most part, I feel like there are some teachers that aren't necessarily American, but they're accredited through an American accreditation. So the students there are getting almost the same as if they were just in America. So it's our sister company called KnowledgeLink. Yeah.
That's so awesome. I love that. For those of you that haven't heard about that, you should be super impressed. So just to sort of recap, students are walking away with a US high school diploma. We at Cambridge Network do the hiring, of the headmasters, of the heads of school, and many of the faculty that work at those schools. So we have that impetus in terms of hiring quality educators as well. So that's KnowledgeLink. How many students approximately do we have on these 12 campuses, Mariah?
Yeah, I think when you hear 12 campuses, you're like, ooh, a ton of students. And we do have a lot of students. We have 1,400 students enrolled every year in the K through 12 programs. But I think that is such a solid number based off how much attention and how much curriculum and how much effective teaching is happening there. Like these students are leaving really, really equipped for their higher level education, especially in English proficiency. So we have 1,400 students every year in those programs.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's transition then. Why is Knowledge Link important to what we're going to be discussing in terms of our new initiative? So what I'm basically asking you is introduce our sort of new, initiative to our listeners.
Yeah, so through Global College Connect, we've always talked about having the services partnered with KL, and to our Cambridge Network students. Like we have thousands of students every year that are ready to go to college. And so we've always said that our colleges have a connection to brand themselves to our students. But we wanted to take a little bit of deep dive into that and allowing and opening the door to our campuses to the KL campuses. They've always had easy access to our American schools, but to open the door to be in China and to be face-to-face with the students is a really big initiative and big plus for these colleges to be in front of these students in China. And we've seen a lot of good fruit come out when we've done this with high schools. When we have high school director of admissions go to China and recruit students, we see a really good outcome. So we said, why aren't we doing this for colleges in our KL campuses? So that's kind of the view that we're seeing. Why this is so good for colleges is because in the last few years, especially with COVID and different regulations in China, what we have been seeing is that over the broad scan of everything, the English proficiency for international students coming into America is pretty low. They don't have the access to early on learning English. They don't have access to the education in English. So colleges are seeing their incoming international students needing a little bit more extra help. And why it's so important for the colleges to have access to our students is they're ready. Plain and simple, these kids are ready for college. And what we're seeing is that when these kids are graduating, they're getting into top schools in the U.S. So for colleges, this seems like an easy into some really ready students to
That's awesome.
Programs.
Does the initiative have a name?
Yes, it's easy. Our full name is Knowledge Link, and so the product name is Student Link because we're going to link you to
Student Link. I absolutely love it. So I just want to do a little bit of a recap here because we've said a lot. We wanted to introduce you to this brand new initiative. So essentially, we're giving members of a college, be that a president of the college, somebody that works in the enrollment team, be that somebody that works maybe in the communications or the marketing team, or a group of people from that college, the opportunity to be able to travel to China, to visit one, two, or as many of these 12 campuses as they wish. We coordinate, we do the logistics of getting them there, showing them around, giving them access to these campuses that we run, and that will then give them the opportunity to do recruitment events, interview students, speak with heads of schools, speak with groups of students about not only their experience at those Knowledge Link campuses, but of course in a recruiting and marketing framework of coming to my college. So it's that direct link that they have with these students. And I think in addition to that, something that you mentioned several times that I think sounds incredibly important is the fact that these students are incredibly proficient in English. So not only are you having direct access to a group of students that are primed and ready to find a college, but the quality of student that you're getting is incredibly high. So you don't have that drain on resources when that student comes and you have to make sure that they have additional classes because maybe they're struggling in some of their classes because of their English proficiency. You have a really, really top-notch student that is very proficient in English, which again is going to affect that re-enrollment of that student year on year. Pretty much summed that up there.
Yeah, I think one more thing that is important to add is when there's students from either Cambridge Network or Knowledge Link, these students have been with us for years. So they have built relationship with our company. Their parents have built relationship with our company, which means that they trust us. So if they see a school coming in, it's probably because we trust that school. And so they're more likely to be like, oh yeah, this school is partnered with Cambridge and Knowledge Link. We trust them. this is a go ahead. So it's like they're going to send their kids across the world. And so they want to do it with people that they trust. So not only is it a plus that they have a good English speaking student, it's just that they trust our company. And so they're more likely to like, okay, yeah, we can send our student here because Cambridge is good people. And so this is what we're going to do. So I think that the relationship is also just a really a big win for them.
Absolutely. Well said. Final thing that I will also add that I think is incredibly important. If you are a member of a team, that's from a college, from a university in the US that's looking to do this, the cultural exposure that you're going to get when you go to these countries, when you go to China, when you visit these campuses is incredible. It's not only incredible to open your own eyes and give you that experience of what it's like, the education sector in that country, but it's really going to give you a better understanding when you do encounter these students from different parts of the world, how their experience might be a little bit different. It certainly made me a business person, better educator within that education realm, and I'm sure it's going to do the same, if you manage to visit these campuses. Mariah, how do people that are interested in this, that want to have hear more information, how do they get in touch with us?
Yeah, so you can email. We have, of course, we're connected to Cambridge. So if you're connected to us in any way in Cambridge, please just email us. But we do have a KL email. I'll put it in the show notes, but it's just connection@kleducation.org. I'll definitely put it in the show notes for you, and you can send an email for more information or to set up a meeting to see how we can connect you to our campuses.
I love it. I love how we continue to innovate, how we continue to come up with great new ways of connecting the world at a deeper level. Mariah, any final thoughts from your side?
No, just really excited for the exposure to for our KL students, especially because they're just really good students. And so they deserve to go campuses that are ready to equip them. So, yeah.
100%. Well said. To all of our listeners, we appreciate you tuning in for the first episode of 2024. Also, the first episode of season 5. We've made it 5 seasons, which is, Mariah should really be patted on the back for that. Not me so much. She has to put up with me. To all of our listeners, remember to like, listen, subscribe, do all of those good things. We'll catch you around the next episode of the Cambridge Insider Podcast. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Cambridge Insider Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode. For more Cambridge updates, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Have a great week and stay connected.